You've probably clicked on this video wondering, how do I become limitless? I'm stressed, I'm overworked, and everyone's talking about the magic pill or the groundbreaking technology that'll elevate me to superhero status. What's it going to take to create a balance between your work and personal well-being? When you work, either you become super productive, that you leave out the personal part of life, or you become too engrossed in personal things to look back at work. If you are thinking there is some sort of pill that can help you switch your mind into doing things at the right time, there isn't any pill. But let me tell you, there is something that you help become just the person you want to idealize. The magic ingredient is to transform your perception of productivity and well-being. I know it is complicated and stressful when you have to sacrifice your well-being for productivity or vice versa. Picture this. When you wake up, your mind is just so silent, and as you gain more consciousness, you become fully aware of how much work you have to do. And before you know it, you bury yourself with a huge mountain of workload. That's not an ideal morning routine. I know you want your day to ease you out of slumber mode and gear you up for the say. YouTube and the world of knowledge are quite saturated, and you can find thousands of conflicting opinions as to how your morning routine should be. But let me tell you this, I'm not bringing you a rule book. Rather, this is a guidebook to make yourself feel motivated and tackle your to-do lists for the day without shedding a sweat. I'd be wrong not to mention that routine differs from person to person. However, the scientific formula to break free from the shackles of stress and overwhelm is just one. I'll give you a glimpse before we move on to a detailed understanding of what's going to come. Picture waking up at 6 a.m., greeted by the soft glow of dawn. Your journey begins with a curious concoction, salt water, and light. A cold shower is a wake-up call for your body and mind. It already sounds lightweight, and trust me, the more you look at it closely, it's a lifestyle which will make you change your whole existence. The routine can be divided into three broad parts: morning, linear, and non-linear. So let's talk about the morning phase first, shall we? The morning sets the tone to propel you towards a state of limitless productivity and well-being. Get comfy and let's break it down. The morning routine starts at 6 a.m. and lasts till 10 a.m. 6 a.m. is the most magical hour when the world is slowly waking up and you wake up with it. You may not know, but your brain craves this natural light. So the first thing you want to do is get outside. Get a few minutes of basking in the morning glow. Here's a little secret you should know. The morning light doesn't make you tired. It will keep you up and running for the rest of the day, avoiding those afternoon naps. Now, on to the first unconventional move, which is to hydrate yourself with salt water. If not salt, you can add mineral drops to the water. It's certainly not going to taste great, but it's the best thing to fire up your brain, jump-starting the neurons. Trust me, it's a game changer. Let's say you weren't able to find a proper solution to a project before sleeping, but this step will wake the sleeping corners of your brain, and you won't believe that your brain can be better at ideas than any AI. The next thing I'm going to say is shocking, but highly effective. Get a cold shower. You won't be torturing yourself. Instead, think of it as a superhero movie, a surge of old water that invigorates your body and mind. Your body is ready to take on anything for the day. It's a natural energizer, setting you up for the challenges of the day. This is an effective scientific way to increase your dopamine levels and sustain it. Now, studies say that chocolate, intercourse, and medications can increase your dopamine levels, which is true. But this increase decreases over time. Further, the increase with cold plunges is far greater by 50% than the other mechanism. The better part here is the increase in dopamine levels is a gradual one. Therefore, your productivity will be at its peak when you are actually about to start working. Here comes the slight no. It is advisable to delay your caffeine intake. In order for the light and cold shower to kick in, you must hold on a bit before you have your first cup. I am not saying you should take a complete pause with coffee, but it is a smart move to match your body's natural rhythm. The science behind taking coffee is that it blocks the adenosine receptor but doesn't clear adenosine. Now, what is adenosine? This is a receptor that controls sleeping and memory function. Adenosine develops when you are sleeping. As you drink coffee, it immediately suppresses it, but it comes back during the afternoon. That's why you can't help but take a nap. With natural bodily movement and light in the first hour or two of your day, you can clear adenosine. After that, you can consume coffee. However, if you exercise right after you can consume it. This habit alone has made a noticeable difference in the lives of many. Just wait an hour or so before you chug down coffee. Your afternoon napping sessions will disappear, making you more alert throughout the day. Now that you have just woken your body up, you might as well give it some task so that it doesn't slough. Let's say a morning jog for a change, or some easy stretches. You will be telling your body to shake off that sleepiness. You might as well move around your neighborhood for a while and say hi to your fellow neighbor who would have probably seen you for the first time. But you had to start someday, right? Or if you are a lazy person, you can just turn on some music and vibe your body through the rhythms. That is the best way to make your brain simple and keep your heart happy. These simple activities in the long run can change everything. Trust me when I say to you that every single move you make is like adding one more day to your lifetime. There is no harm in adding more days to your life, but there will be a cost to let you get that 1 hour extra sleep or that sudden urge not to do anything sinking in. You may not like it now, but even though this isn't a huge change, it's like adding a few habits to your morning playlist. The morning light, the brain awakening drink, the refreshing cold shower, the delayed coffee, and the gentle movement. They come together like a morning dance party for your body and mind. As you think about trying these things, don't see them as tough tasks. Imagine how they could turn your morning into a mini adventure, making you feel more alive, giving you a pep in your step, and setting the stage for a day where you're ready to tackle anything. It's not about following strict rules. It's about creating a morning that feels like your own special party, where you're the star of the show. Now, what about the balance we have been speaking of? How do you balance your life with your work? And where do you draw that line which tells you to stop? For you to become limitless, you need to know what your limits are and cross them to be able to call yourself so. Does that make sense to you? You need to know what makes you feel comfortable and what threshold your body and mind have. That is the first step to achieving productivity, knowing your point of saturation. So what was the big deal about the Huberman Lab, and why did that skyrocket the moment Andrew rolled it out? In crisp, it can be said that the reason why it took off faster than a MiG-35 is that instead of giving advice, he led by example. If you look closely, his life has been the perfect example of what he tells you to do on a daily basis. So in other words, he gives a piece of advice and then takes it for himself as well. How humble is that? Now you know everything about morning. We have already covered that. You need to set the tone, get your mind ready, train yourself for everything that you may and will face in the times ahead, and so on. So once you do that, that's it. You are done for the morning phase. Next up is the linear phase. This is the time from 10 a.m. all the way to 2 p.m. The time when a lot of people usually have a heavy meal and maybe take a nap is actually the time which you can use to make the best out of yourself. This part of the day can be as silent as an EV to work with, or as fast as a rabbit with jumps and momentum changes all over. depending upon how you decide to make use of it. Let me explain. Your day-to-day tasks, such as the errands at your home and other similar tasks, are best suited for this time. Andrew suggests that you work continuously for 90 minutes and then take small 20-minute rests to make sure you keep your body thoroughly fed throughout the time. Remember, your thresholds need to be addressed first, for them to be worked upon. For those who think their thresholds are too low, go ahead with the 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off technique or anything that suits you. The motive here is to make sure that you follow some plan during the linear period of your effective working hours. During this time, you can meet your team members, strategies with your teammates, and make sure that you get more insights on what you need to do in the next phase of your day. Oh, to add a cherry on top, this phase can usually be coupled with putting your phone on Do Not Disturb. This will keep all the distractions away and will make sure you don't waste your time on things that don't really make much of a difference when it comes to your productivity. Keeping your phone is quite important as it prevents you from going onto social media and then wasting the next 20 minutes, sometimes even an hour, scrolling through the reels. Social media has so much content to deliver these days that we can't really blame our minds for getting addicted to it. So, what we need to do is to prevent ourselves from falling into the rabbit hole and make sure that we make the most out of each second that we are at our work desk. Remember, it is just halfway through your day. You do not lose focus already. With that out of the way, let us now move into the non-linear phase. Now, this phase has a totally different approach in comparison to the other two. This phase starts after 7 to 8 hours after waking up. So if you do the math, that'll be around 2 p.m. and will continue all the way till 10 p.m. Focus, focus, focus is the mantra here for this phase. What is so different in this phase? You ask then, let me explain. This phase is all about your creative side. You analyze everything that you did in your linear phase, be the best of your critiques, and come up with creative solutions. You can be a bit flexible with your work and are not guided by your clients or mandates. In simple words, this is the time you let your mind think about yourself and not the profits you need to accumulate or the targets you need to meet. Oh, I have another idea for you. Make sure you never take up any client meetings or anything else to make sure that you give yourself the time you need to be creative. This will be the best way forward to make sure that your mind stays ignited even when the body blazes into work mode every morning and afternoon. Keep your nights relaxed and develop your mind for the next day of work. This will make you more efficient, resilient, and responsive to challenges. One thing you need to keep in mind is to rest but not sleep. Your mind and body need to be relaxed. Traditionally, it is suggested that you either indulge in a sleep rest or do meditation. Over the years, I think the two options we have are not really enough, and this is where NSDR non-sleep deep rest works. So, how do you do it? Just lay down for 10 to 15 minutes without sleeping. Maybe think of the next steps of your life. Predict where your life is taking you and have fun just thinking of the progress you have made already. Self-appreciation is the key to confidence. A person lacking confidence will naturally lack progress. You need to be confident about yourself to be able to live up to all the achievements you make. Both of them are mutually inclusive. One can exist only in the presence of the other. One other thing you could do is listen to some podcasts that keep you lightheaded, or maybe listen to your favorite songs and whatnot. The options which you have in this phase are endless. As a matter of fact, this is also the time for your hobbies and interests. The agenda here is to recharge yourself. Treat your mind and body so they treat you back when it is the right time. You can take this time to socialize and maybe go out for dinner at your favorite restaurant as well. The choices are endless. What you are doing here is preparing your mind, or calming it down for the next morning. So, what are the takeaway points here apart from what Andrew has to tell you? Number one, delay your caffeine. I will not say stop, but delay it and have it after an hour or two from waking up. Number two, have a cold shower. And number three, get some sun on your face. These are the things which you need to do every day to keep your body focused. Now, when it comes to your mind, taking it easy on it, allowing it to work according to its thresholds, and respecting the value of time will change your game. That is all we have for this video for you. Make sure you go through everything we told you. Think about it. Cherish your mind. Keep it focused and encouraged. And trust me, you will do